Welcome to Yogaxpress, the mobile stretch clinic that takes yoga to the people. I'm delighted to let you know that our wonderful special guest from yesterday is back with us today and has totally succeeded in converting the rest of us into yoga addicts. I know Josiane always was one. Ambyr D'Amato is a musician and yoga trainer and very popular yoga teacher in several different yoga schools in New York City. And I was fortunate enough to practice yoga with her, to learn from her, especially how to get into the headstand, almost as if I'd been doing it all my life, which I hadn't. But Ambyr just slapped my feet up, got me up there and said, "You're fine," and she walked away. And that worked for me. So it was great. I haven't, to be very honest, Ambyr, I have not tried getting into headstand since that day because I've not had anyone else give me that much confidence to get into it. So that's why that memory is still ingrained in my mind. Ambyr is here with us one more time, but before I go ahead and reintroduce, I would like you to also know that, and listen, actually some of her music is playing right now. Is that the second track?
The first track.
This is the first track. We played the first track yesterday and we loved it so much. We've requested that we play the first track again, but you're also going to hear the other numbers today. I would also, before I go ahead and tell you a little more about her music, I'd like to introduce Nell Greenfield. One more time, Nell is a wonderful, wonderful inspiration to all of us. At 91, she plays tennis. She has done a lot of photography. She's taken some wonderful pictures in different parts of the country and possibly the world as well, Nell. She's traveled a lot. And Nell has never practiced yoga before. And she was curious. And Nell and Josiane are good friends. So Josiane heard to my extreme right, brought Nell with her today, and she said, "You have to." She actually brought Nell yesterday, and she brought her back today. Nell very sportingly decided to stay with us. So thank you for being here with us again, Nell.
You're very welcome.
We enjoyed the session yesterday with you as well, and Ambyr did a great job of making you get into the Ujjayi breathing, and today you're going to do some chanting. Is that what we're doing today?
Yeah.
Chanting?
As long as it's not high C.
Josiane used to be a belly dancer. She practices taekwondo, aikido. She has been sailing. She's been into all the energy sports.
Yes.
And yoga is your common denominator.
Yes.
She finds a lot of peace, a lot of satisfaction in practicing yoga. And let me keep this a very tight secret about Ambyr's CD. A little PR for ourselves. There's a sequence, 48 plus ailment specific sequence. We have it on a postcard. We'll send you a copy. If you've been very good, we'll also send you a fridge magnet with the sequence and a little business card, the front of which is not important. The back has the sequence on it as well. Keep this in your wallet. Keep the little card in your wallet, the fridge magnet on your fridge, and put the postcard in your handbag. And as we said yesterday, just don't give yourself and us any excuses not to stretch. This sequence has been adapted from a book called Yoga Secrets, which I might just hold it up for the cameras, a little bit of PR for myself, which you can just go to my website and find that. If you want to contact Ambyr, as I'm sure you will want to after this episode, Ambyr's email is ambyrdamato@gmail.com. That's AMBYRDAMATO@gmail.com. Her website has a lot of her music that you can listen for free, www.ambyrdamato.com. Ambyr has recently released, around April this year, Ambyr, this wonderful CD called Born into Color. And for the benefit of our viewers, that's what it looks like. And you can see now, there you go, wonderful. You can see now how people must be captivated. Did you get that? People must be captivated just looking at the cover of this CD. And if you listen to her music, I'm sure you will you'll be on a different high altogether. Ambyr, you're going to tell us a little bit, you're going to help us a little bit into the chanting process. So tell us a little bit, why is it important to chant?
Sure. Well, first, I just like to say that a lot of people are often turned off by chanting in yoga classes, or they're wondering why it's necessary. So we're going to talk a little bit about why we do it today. And Yeah, and I would love to guide us through some little brief exercises. A really big aspect of chanting in relation to yoga practice is that it awakens the throat chakra, which is the 5th chakra. And as you know, the chakras are different energy points within the body, and I'm sure you've done
Vishuddhi chakra. Yeah.
all sorts of wonderful episodes on
No,
that.
we need some basic stuff.
So the throat chakra is basically designed to help us to tap into our freedom of expression and our freedom of creativity. So it doesn't necessarily have to be singing just because it's in the throat. Your expression could be photography, it could be dancing, it could be singing, it could be writing, whatever your own creativity outlet is. And many people also think, oh, but that's not my job, so I'm not going to dedicate a lot of time to it. But it's really important to be able to express yourself creatively. It helps to keep the mind very fluid and flexible, and just helps to kind of give you a little outlet, so to speak. So in terms of the yoga practice, this is why we chant. We chant to help people awaken their own freedom of expression or creativity unique to them.
So beautiful.
And also it does create a nice vibration in the body. Many of your teachers, I'm sure, will teach you a pose in Sanskrit, and you're wondering what are they saying. And the reason that they do that is to, again, tap you into the vibrational quality of the Sanskrit language. Same thing with chanting.
Is it true that chanting, because of its repetitive nature, is it true that it helps clear the mind of any negative debris because we have this repetitive nature, so we're focusing inward? Does that make sense?
That's a great way to put it. The mind has a chance to relax when it doesn't have to think about what's happening next. So for instance, I brought in some mala beads today.
What is this? Okay.
They're really beautiful mala beads. They're made with tulsi wood. A very good friend of mine brought them back from India for me. But for instance, when a person is chanting, let's say that we're just going to do a really basic mantra, Om, 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 and you're moving up the beads.
How many beads are there?
There's 108 beads,
okay.
which the numbers 1 plus 8 in numerology is 9, which is the number of completion. And it's, again, it's the actual structure of the beads is very common in many different religions. It's doesn't necessarily, have to be the Hindu religion. It is just designed to give you some discipline so that the mind doesn't wander, oh, what do I have to do later? Oh, I got to check my email. Oh, this, oh, that. So the mind just says, you tell your mind, you give yourself a little discipline. You say, I'm gonna chant Om 108 times and go around. Now, of course, there's longer mantras. A very popular one is Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which is may all beings be happy in the earth. And so you might hear different Sanskrit mantras. If you don't know Sanskrit or you've never heard a Sanskrit mantra, you could make your own mantra. Something as simple as, I feel wonderful today, or I feel this today.
Everything positive.
Right, putting yourself into a very positive.
That's a great way of
positive place. Yes. So. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I was just, as you were talking, I was trying to figure out why 108, but you already explained it. You said 8 plus 1, and then 9 is...
the number of completion.
Number of completion. Is that because there used to be 9 planets? Because I heard one of the planets is not a planet anymore.
Right, Pluto. Poor Pluto.
I know. He got thrown out.
It's also used in martial art, the beads.
Ah.
Really? The underneath there's a lot of connection with other stuff as well. Besides, it's always related to meditation, but also plus the relation of the brain the peacefulness of
concentration.
Yes,
Right, it's a lulling of the
sure.
brain. That's another nice way to put it. So it
Yeah.
actually calms the brain,
yes.
right?
It's wonderful.
Chanting. Are we going to do a few chants today?
Yeah, we
okay.
definitely
Great.
can. We definitely
I
can.
have a question before you go ahead. Why is there a knot at one end? I mean, I know that actually holds the beads together, but is there a reason?
So you know where you start.
Okay.
That's a great simple explanation. There's definitely a more
Spiritual explanation.
a more, and it could be, there's pages and pages on explanations. The traditional way that the beads are held, at least in India, the traditional way is that they're actually held with the thumb and the middle finger. The first bead, you set an intention. You say, I'm practicing my mantra today to help to clear my mind, or
Right.
I'm practicing my mantra today for somebody that I love, who I want to give a little positive energy to.
Wonderful.
And when you chant on them, you go around, and then when you get all the way to the other end, you
Amber?
stop. Yes?
Wait, where?
No.
Oh, and you stop, and then you go back the other way, so you don't actually cross the center bead.
Right.
You go in one way, and then you stop, and you go the
Can
other
we
way.
have Ambyr's music up while she's talking as well? Danny, could you have Claudia put that? We'd like to listen to her music.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Ambyr's music, can we get Ambyr's music?
So that is pretty much the technical stuff.
Okay.
But I think that at home, I brought in actually just a beautiful. It's not quite a set of beads, but a friend of mine, a lovely friend of mine, Sabina, we work together, we teach together. She made me a very beautiful set of malas, and it's basically just cloth. It's a silk that she
Right.
made, and she tied 108 knots.
Wow.
And
That's a great
so,
idea.
so if you don't want to spend money on beads, or you don't have friends visiting India, I mean, this is New York, so you can find them everywhere. But if you want to just make your own set, you can even just make from cloth at home. It's
Great
again
idea.
designed just to give you a focus on your mind. You don't have to go crazy with necessarily the technique or
It's like the links, right? You
Right.
just have to create the links.
right, absolutely.
I know how I can use my husband's ties now. Imagine not.
You made us
Just
like
tear
that.
them up.
Right. Just knock
Yeah.
them up everywhere. So we're
So,
ready. Yeah, we're ready for
great,
chanting.
great.
This is exciting.
All right. Well, I mean, the simplest exercise, the simplest one is Om. There's another one. There's Sita Ram. There's Hare Krishna. There's all different ones. Do you have a preference?
We'll stay with Om because
stay
I think
with
we
Om.
talked
Yeah, I
about
like
the
Om.
science of
I like
Om,
Om.
and it's safer to be very neutral.
Great, yeah.
The moment we go into Krishna, then people may get scared.
Right. No, of course. And like I said,
I'm
you can
happy.
even make up your own
Right.
English, personal to you mantra. It's not about necessarily doing anything.
Before you start, sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
What is this?
Oh, this is my own. Set.
Does it have 108 as well?
It does.
Oh,
It's
wait,
just, they're
okay.
just smaller.
Oh, wow,
They're just
okay.
smaller. So, and they're kind of worn in, so you can see that I wear them on my skin. The color has changed.
Right.
Just a harder wood. So, okay. So again, you just want to sit comfortable. You can sit in a chair at home. You can sit on the floor. You can, just sit however you feel comfortable, where you can breathe and let your mind relax a little bit. But you can feel free to use the beads if you like. And we'll just go through a few, and you can close your eyes if you want. Now you can also grab your beads. Again, you
Think
don't
of someone
have to.
you love, Nelly. Nothing
you don't
spiritual
have
about
to
it. Then you
use the
move that if you
beads.
don't want the. You want the bricks? I don't need it. No, it's uncomfortable. Too high. I have to get something lower than that. So
A little wedge, maybe.
yeah.
So, all right. So we'll just start. I'll give you all a moment to set an intention. So it could be for health for yourself. It could be for health for somebody else. It could be for anything that you like, just to learn how to focus your mind. Just take a moment, set an intention on your first bead. And then whenever you're ready, you can just take your beads and just find the first bead. And we'll begin. Om. Om. Om.
I was just wondering.
We can stop there. I think you get the hang of it.
Right.
So, yeah.
I wanted to ask you the reason I didn't want to interrupt the chanting, but I want you to explain to us how that vibration has helped, because I could already feel a kind of a vibration when we did Om. I'm sure
it's a good one.
Josiane could feel it too.
It's a very good one. It's a very rewarding one.
Yes.
And you feel like you did something good for yourself.
Definitely, definitely. It is just like a yoga practice in the sense that you take a little bit of time out of our, we all have very busy lives, busy days. Take a little bit of time for yourself or for somebody else or for however you are looking at it. And you're giving yourself a chance to quiet the mind. It helps to also lower your blood pressure. By just creating a nice
See, the mind is constantly, non-stop thinking.
Right.
It's the most difficult thing to stop, is not to think. It's so hard.
This way,
and this is wonderful.
Fantastic. This way, it actually narrows thinking to one thought at a time. And you did have a few other chants for us as well. It's just that if we do 108, but I want to continue because I've got my finger on the 15th beat. So when we do the next chant, we can continue from there till we get the vibration. But I had a couple of questions. And I know I get carried away in your classes, so whenever you're teaching. So I just thought if it's okay with you.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you, you finally became a yoga teacher. How do you think this has helped you in your music career? Has your yoga practice helped you in your music career?
Definitely.
Because I know our viewers want to know about you as well.
Sure. The song that's playing right now actually is called Stay for Good, and I wrote that song after I lost a very good friend of mine. He passed away my freshman year of college, and I was really sad and very depressed for a long time, and especially as a young person. Well, even then I was even younger, but especially as a young person, you just really hate to be in that place of sadness and darkness, loss and grief. And I think what yoga does is it teaches you that those feelings are okay, and you can notice them and be in them at certain points. But I was pushing close to the 5-year mark, and I was still feeling very sad every day, crying every day, not really feeling well, not really feeling like my usual joyful self.
Right.
And once I started getting into yoga, and then very soon after I started practicing, I began teaching, I saw how much it affects people. I saw how much it made me feel so much better. And then every time I would teach a class, I would see that people, I always had this joy of feeling that people left in a better place than when they came in to see me. So I really started to love my teaching as a job, and it gave me so much more purpose that I realized that I needed to teach, not only to heal myself, but to help other people be able to kind of tap into those same feelings. People, we go through so much. Death is only just one of the hard things that we have to deal with in our lifetime, and loss. But yoga gives you a nice grounding, a foundation, a sense of yourself, and a kind of sometimes it gives you a little bit more of a level playing field. So if you have been falling down the hole, or you haven't been feeling really great, it kind of brings you at least back up to the surface, so that you have a chance to do your work. And maybe that's seeing a doctor, maybe that's going to counseling, maybe it's this, that, whatever. It's different. Everybody needs different things, but I'm not saying it's only yoga, but I do think that it does help. It also gets you out of that repetitive pattern of negativity and introduces so many more positive patterns.
I think it very beautifully puts together what you just said. It actually teaches us, you're talking about a sad incident that made you get into yoga. It teaches that kind of detachment. That detachment is another extension of being attached to somebody. So if you're very attached, you learn to detach them emotionally. It doesn't mean you don't remember them anymore. It just means you are covered. Yoga protects you in some way, in a symbolic way, that you don't feel the pain too much.
Also prevent destruction. because we can
And
be
self-destruction, actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
Letting
right.
ourselves go.
Emotional
Yes,
self-destruction.
letting
Sure.
ourselves go,
Right.
emotionally and
Yes.
physically.
Yeah.
So I feel like just to top off the very beginning of your question, which was how did it help my music?
Yeah.
It actually just let me be able to do my music because I just couldn't for so long because I wasn't feeling well. That now that I've had
You channeled all that.
yeah, I've had some time to reflect and look back at it, and now I feel like I'm ready to do that. And
We already enjoyed, I think, 2 or 3 numbers. There are only 4 on this album,
Right,
correct?
right.
We enjoyed listening to 2 of them. Danny's not here. As soon as our camera person comes back, I'm going to show them the album again. What other chant? You were talking about Loka Samasta. Is that okay if Amber chants and we just move the beats? You're okay? I might repeat with her, and if you want, you can repeat.
Sure. It just means the chant
Or any other
in
chant.
Sanskrit means may all beings be happy and peaceful.
Yeah.
It's a very neutral chant, so you can begin where you left off, or you
Yeah, I
can
left
start
at beat
again.
15. I was counting when we did the
Whatever makes you happy. I'll have to find mine.
See, that's
Alright.
another thing. The chanting, these beats teach us to concentrate, right? I've been hanging on to this beat since I made you talk again, so I didn't want to forget.
So how we can do another 10 out of our 108. So you're welcome to chant along after you get the hang of it. So Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
Okay. You know what? I'm glad we have done it in 8 cycles. I was counting the number of times we did Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, and in the 6th one, and that's what made me actually open my eyes and want to ask you this. In the 6th time that we did it, I stumbled on the word samasta because we were just getting the time cue, and that's what it's teaching. Chanting is teaching us to focus as well.
Does that say anything, what you're saying, other than,
Yeah, it means may all beings be happy and present, be happy and joyful. everywhere.
Bhavantu is fulfillment, Loka is people, Samasta is society.
and
so
that's in what language?
Sanskrit.
In Sanskrit, yeah.
Sanskrit. It wouldn't work in any other language.
Of course it does. No,
You can have your own chant.
Absolutely. You could say, may all beings everywhere be happy.
One
May-
word for one being.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
May all beings. But we need to say it with a kind of a rhythm, right? She gave us the cue for 5 minutes about 2 minutes ago, so we have
Okay.
3 minutes. We're good. But we need to say it with a kind of a rhythm. After about 5 or 6 times, I think the rhythm comes.
Yeah, you'll start to
Right?
get into your own
Right,
rhythm.
right.
Yeah, definitely.
So that repetition definitely helped me focus. I did slip up once because I was
that's
looking
okay.
at
Okay. Well,
But
thank
I
you.
have one more. I have a couple of. Josiane, did you have any questions for Amber or Nell? Did you have any other questions to ask Amber?
No, I can't think of any other ones at the
I'm-
moment. But
I'm
if
a
I
full
do,
tank
I'll
of
write it to
questions.
you.
Okay, it's a deal.
There you go. If you want to contact Amber, you have any questions for Amber, you want to learn how to get into headstand with Amber, contact her by email. Her website is www.amberdamato.com. AMBYRDAMATO.com, or email her amberdamato@gmail.com. Amber, before we wind down, we have a couple of minutes left. If Josiane and Nell don't have any questions at the moment, they're going to email you.
Great.
I'm going to
I
listen to
have-
your music.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, especially the free downloads. I'm going to start that first, and then I'm going to go out and buy a copy. I know I'm not going to ask people to buy because this is public access, but you know where to get it. You know how to get the CD. But I was also curious, how is your teaching and the practicing of yoga, how has it changed your music? Has it changed your voice in any way? Have you found any improvement?
Oh, that's a great question. I think definitely learning the breath has made me a better singer.
Right.
It has also given me so much more self-confidence because, as most of you know, the performing world is a tough place, and it's very easy to get kind of beat down. But the more grounding and the more foundation of who you are going into that world definitely helps a lot. And also having a little bit more technical skills, like being able to take deeper breaths or
Right.
support a note that I'm singing a little bit more is a skill, and I'm very grateful for it, definitely.
You did perform live. Was it just the one time when you released the CD, or you
I perform
live?
pretty regularly around New York.
Tell our viewers where they
yeah,
can watch you and listen to you.
You can find me on YouTube if you just type in my name on YouTube, or you can see on my website there's upcoming performances, or sign up for the mailing list if you want to be personally invited.
So you've also been teaching yoga for 6 years. So is there any advice you want to give to new yoga teachers or to new practitioners?
For new
Even to experienced yogis.
Oh, sure. I would say take as many classes as you can from all different teachers, all different studios. There's so many wonderful teachers here in New York that have so much to offer. For beginners, just hang in there. We all started as beginners, so just enjoy
Gotta
the
start
process.
somewhere.
That's right. Don't be upset if you can't do the splits in your first class.
No, I think if we start chanting and breathing right at the same time, I'm sure we won't even think about doing when we do the splits. Let our mind wander somewhere else.
That's
into
right.
something more
And
positive.
as a singer, breathing properly is most important.
Right, it improves
Most-
lung power, right,
Yeah.
Amber?
Definitely.
It enhances lung power. So go out there, breathe. This time, breathe with a consciousness of how you're breathing. Use the Ujjayi breath, any breath that you are being taught on this program, and what Amber just taught us yesterday. And as far as chanting goes, don't forget, you don't have to chant in Sanskrit. It doesn't have to be a spiritual thing. You can chant anything that has a repetitive sound. Can be very healing, isn't that right?
Yes,
Just
and
like
positive.
music. And
Absolutely.
positive. So send all those positive vibes to people you love, people you don't love as well, people who you know need your positive thoughts. Stay with us in this program, and Amber will hopefully come for a few more episodes. You did promise to come back tomorrow.
Yes.
So Amber.